Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to Sweet Patterns. In today's video, I am excited to be sharing how to crochet this beautiful headband. Now, this headband I designed actually a few weeks ago, and it is super simple to create. So you can see it has a beautiful little twist in the front, and then it's a super simple Alpine stitch headband, but I love that it gives a subtle bit of texture, which I think is just really classy, but yet very simple. So a couple things I want to mention before we jump into the tutorial. First off, if at any point in this video you want to look at the written instructions, whether you're having trouble understanding me or just want the written instructions, you can check the first link in the description box down below for the free written instructions on my blog. So make sure to check that link. I also have the ad-free PDF as well linked in the description box down below. Then the next thing I want to mention is if at any point in this video I'm talking too fast or too slow for you, you can always adjust the playback speed by clicking the little settings gear icon in the bottom right corner of the video, click playback speed, and then you can adjust it from there. So I either talk faster or slower, depending on whether you're more of an advanced or beginner crocheter. And so yeah, I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial for how to make these beautiful headbands. One thing I did want to mention is that I'm using a number 2 weight yarn, 2 strands of a number 2 weight yarn for this tutorial. If you want to, you can use a number 4 weight yarn. You might just have to adjust how many rows you do for the headband, but that's pretty simple. So I'll walk you through how to make this headband now. So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Today is first you'll need a hook. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm crochet hook for this project. You'll need darning needle, of course, to tie in your tails and make the twist. And then you also need some scissors, and these are just good old-fashioned scissors. Then you're going to need your yarn. Now, I personally am going to be using Hobbii Upcycled Alpaca Wool Big for this project. And this yarn is a number 2 fine weight yarn. And for this tutorial, I'll be using 2 strands of the yarn together at once. So you can see this is how the finished headband will turn out. And I will be using 2 strands like I already said. So I'm going to go ahead, and I end up using about 1.5 balls of this, which this ball is, or cake is about 131 yards. And so I'm going to be using 131 yards plus a little bit, about half another ball. So about 180-ish yards of yarn. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take this label off, and we are going to grab both strands, so the inside strand and the outside strand. One thing I did want to mention before we jump in is that with this headband, you can make it however wide you want it and however long you want it. So if you have a larger head than my head is, you can always add more rows to this headband. I did 85 rows total, but you could do 90 or 95 rows or 92 rows. You can do however many rows you need to. It's about a 2-row repeat, so as long as you do it as an odd number, you should be totally good. Then the other thing I want to mention is if you want to make this headband wider, if you prefer the look of a wider headband, you can always do more than 14 stitches across. You'll want to have an even number of stitches across when you chain. So I do 14 chains plus 1 as the beginning chain. So you'll want to do then, if you want to make it wider, you could do 17 chains, and then your back and forth will be 16 total stitches. So yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial for how to make this headband. You're going to grab both of these strands, and you're going to grab your 4.5mm hook, of course. And to begin, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 15. So you can see here are the 2 strands of yarn. We're just going to pretend like this is 1 strand of yarn for this whole tutorial. So consider this 1 strand. So we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot to begin. And to make a slip knot, you're going to put the yarn at the base of your hand, wrap around your finger twice, grab the front loop, or the back loop, bring it to the front, grab the new back loop, bring it up and over and off your finger. Go ahead and tighten that, and you're going to make a chain of 15. So to make a chain, you're going to yarn over and pull through. That's one chain. You're going to pull through again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we have our chain of 15, and now what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet into the second chain from hook and each stitch across. So the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to skip that first chain, and into that second chain from hook, we're going to insert, yarn, pull through, and yarn and pull through 2. That's a single crochet, and we're going to do that in each stitch across. So single crochet into each stitch across, and that is what we're going to do. We should have 14 stitches at the end of this row. So you can see there's our single crochets. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this row number 1 off camera, and I'll meet you right back. Alright, so I finished doing the 14 single crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chain 2. So make it a chain of 2, turn our work, and we are going to make a double crochet into each stitch across. So to make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over and you're going to insert into that first stitch right there. So yarn over, insert into that first single crochet. So the chain for our turn does not count as a stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert into that first stitch, yarn, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's one double crochet, and you're just going to repeat that into each stitch across. So yarn over, insert, yarn, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So I'm going to go ahead and make a double crochet into each stitch across, and I'll meet you back at the end of row number 2. Okay, so you can see I have done all the double crochets across. Now we are going to go ahead and chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to single crochet into each stitch across. So make just one single crochet into each stitch across, and you're going to make a single crochet into that first stitch. So our chains for all of this headband will not count as a stitch. So single crochet into each stitch across, and you should have 14 stitches at the end of this round or row, and so I'll meet you right back at the end of row number 3. Alright, so I finished row number 3. This is how it should be looking. Now for row number 4, we're going to chain 2, and this is where we're actually going to start doing the beautiful textured Alpine stitch. So this is how it will start looking. So to do that, we are going to begin by making a double crochet into the first stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert into that very first stitch, make a double crochet. Now, into the next stitch, this is where it gets interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and we're going to do a front post double crochet into the double crochet 2 rows below. So not the single crochets, into the double crochets down here. Now you're going to want to line up the stitches, so you can see we did 1 double crochet here, so that aligns with this double crochet. So we don't want to work into this double crochet, we want to go into the next stitch, which would be this double crochet. So the second double crochet 2 rows on the second row below. So you yarn over, go around that double crochet. Now to go around the double crochet, what you're going to do, so you're going to go into the hole, the space of on this side of the double crochet, and then come out on this side of the double crochet. So if you look on the back side, you can see our hook. Let me see if I can get this to focus. You can see the hook on the back side. So we're going to make a double crochet now. So you're going to yarn over, pull through. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, just like a normal double crochet. So this is how it should look. Whoop, I'm having trouble focusing. This is how it should look at the end of that double crochet. Now one thing you'll want to know is you'll want to do these double crochets are from the 2 rows below. You'll want to do them a little bit looser than you would normally do a double crochet, just so that it stretches up and reaches the height of these double crochets that we work into the top of the stitches. So now that we've done this one, we're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch, the top of the next stitch, which you can see there's the double crochet from the row below, and here's the next stitch. Make a double crochet into that top of the next stitch. Then you're going to do the same thing that we just did. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go to the row below the single crochet row, so 2 rows down. You're going to grab that stitch and you're going to make a front post double crochet. So you can see this is how it's starting to look. 1 stitch like normal, 1 stitch coming forward. And we are going to continue this for the rest of this row. So you're going to go down to the row below, and then so make a double crochet, a normal double crochet, and then go down to the row 2 before. So make a normal double crochet into the top of that stitch, and then go down to a front post double crochet from that previous row. And you're just going to repeat this in each stitch, so making sure that you have 14 stitches at the end of this round. This is really important that you count how many stitches you have left, because it's easy to get confused what stitch you're supposed to work into and work into the wrong stitch. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 stitches, and then there's 2 stitches left right here for me to work into. And what we're going to do for these last 2 stitches is we're going to make a double crochet into each of them. So normal double crochet. And you'll see at the end of this row, so at the end of row 4, we did double crochet, then front post double crochet, and then we just repeated that all the way across into the last 2 stitches we did. Well, into the 3rd stitch we did a front post double crochet, and then the last 2 stitches we just did a normal double crochet. So this is how it should be looking. Now we are going to continue on to row number 5, and we are going to just chain 1, turn our work, and for row number 5 you're just going to single crochet into the top of each of these stitches. So super easy. Make a single crochet into that first stitch and into each of the stitches across. So I'm going to go ahead and do row number 5, and I'll meet you right back. Alright, so I finished row number 5. Now at this point it is kind of natural for it to want to bend forward a little bit, because those front post double crochets just naturally will want to make the fabric fold a little bit. But what you want to be careful about is if it's folding really bad, like if it's like basically in half, you might want to take out this row and the last row, and you're going to want to do the front post double crochets a lot looser. So that's the problem. If you're having a real problem with it folding really bad, you're going to want to take out the front post double crochet row and redo it looser. So now that we have row number 5 done, we're going to do row number 6, and we're going to end up doing doing a repeat of row 3, 4, 5, and 6 again and again. But first, I'll show you row 6, and then we'll do the repeat. So, row 6, chain 2, you're going to turn your work. You're going to make a double crochet into the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then you're going to make a double crochet, front post double crochet into this stitch right here. So, if you can tell, what we're doing is we're going to work into every other stitch, but instead of doing double crochet and then a front post double crochet, we start with 2 double crochets. So we're going to be working into the stitches that we did not do the front post double crochets into 2 rows ago. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, we're going to be working between the front post double crochets in this row. So you're going to yarn over, insert, and you're going to go around that double crochet between the 2 front post double crochets. You're going to make a front post double crochet. Then you're going to make a double crochet into that next stitch. Then you're going to make a front post double crochet around that next stitch. And that is the repeat you're going to follow. So basically, if you can tell, where we had done 2 front post double crochets, now we're doing a front post double crochet between those 2 stitches. So we're working into the double crochets that we had just done a regular double crochet into for the last round. So I'm going to keep doing this in each stitch across, and then for the last bit, what you're going to do, let me just finish up this row. So for the last 2 stitches, what you're going to do, right here we have the last 2 stitches, we just worked a double crochet. We're going to make a front post double crochet into that next stitch, and then into the very last stitch right here, we're going to make a normal double crochet. So basically, if you can tell, what we had done on row 4 was 1 double crochet and then a front post double crochet, and then we repeated that and we ended with 2 double crochets. Then for row 6, we did kind of the opposite. We started with 2 double crochets and then we worked across and we ended with only 1 double crochet. So hopefully that made sense. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 again and again. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to single crochet into each stitch across. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you right back, and we will continue on with this repeat. All right, so I finished row number 7, and we're going to go ahead and chain 2, turn our work, and we are going to repeat row number 4. So that is where we're going to double crochet into the first stitch, then make a front post double crochet into the next stitch. Basically our first front post double crochet row. So we're just going to go ahead and repeat overall. So we're going to do this row, then we're going to do a single crochet row, and then we're going to do repeat row number 6. So we're going to repeat basically rows 3 right here, 3, 4, 5, and 6 over and over and over again until we are done, and that will be row 85. So you're going to repeat this until you've done a row 85. So basically single crochet row, then we're going to do a front post double crochet starting with a double crochet and then a front post double crochet, then another single crochet row, and then 2 double crochets and a front post double crochet alternating across. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this again and again until I have finished our, until I've done 85 rows. So you're just going to repeat, continue the repeat of front post double crochet, front post double crochet, and then just repeating that back and forth, and then doing a single crochet row, and then doing another front post double crochet row. So basically between every front post double crochet row there should be a single crochet row, and then you will do the opposite stitches to begin with. So 2 double crochets or 1 double crochet depending. So basically if you need to, go ahead and back up the video. Otherwise continue on, and I will meet you back once I have completed row 85 of this headband. Alright, so I just finished row 84, and we're not going to do row 85 quite yet. And the reason for that, so sorry about that little mistake. We're going to do just row 84. Then now for row 85, we're going to work all the way around the headband and then come across and work across the top of this headband. So for row 85 all total, we're going to start working on this side of the headband. The reason for that is with this stitch, the 2 edges of the headband are a little bit looser than the center, so it naturally will want to kind of curl a little bit. And what we're going to do to fix that is we're going to work along the side, and it also just makes a more even, crisp look. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and you're going to basically work single crochet decreases along this whole side. So to make a single crochet decrease, you're going to insert your hook, and I'm going to insert my hook into the side of the double crochet that we just created. Insert your hook into that, yarn will pull through. Then you're going to insert your hook into the next kind of stitch down, which for me is that single crochet right there. So insert your hook into the side of the single crochet, pull through, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And you're just going to work all the way along down the side of the headband like this. So I find that I work about twice into the double crochets and once into the side of the single crochet. So You can see there's a double crochet coming up. What we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into that top of the double crochet, then yarn over, pull through, insert our hook into kind of that bottom part of the double crochet right there. And I like to try to kind of split between it and not go around the whole double crochet. And that I just feel like makes it look a little bit more even and neat when we're done. So I like to split, go between the double crochet right there. And then you're going to yarn over, pull through. And yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So I'm just going to continue working down. And you can see now the next stitch is a single crochet. Then I'm going to work into the top part of the double crochet. And I'm just going to keep working like this all the way down the side of this headband. And then I'll meet you right back when I am to the bottom part of the headband, and we'll continue to the bottom part and then doing the other side. So I'll meet you back once we reach the bottom. Okay, so I just finished going down along the side of this headband, and I just love how it looks so much more neat, and also it's more the correct tension now for the whole headband. It just kind of corrects the tension. It just looks so beautiful. And so that is, I finished the side. Now I've come to the bottom, and you can see that there's 1 stitch left. I just did a decrease right here, and there's 1 stitch left. I'm just going to do a single crochet into the side of that single crochet of the first row, just because I have 1 stitch left on to work on the side. So if you don't have that extra stitch left, if you have 2 stitches, just go ahead and do a single crochet decrease over those last 2 stitches. I just had only 1 stitch left, and so I'm just going to do 1 single crochet into that last stitch. Now you can see here was the chains that we worked into, and I'm going to go ahead, insert my hook into that first chain, make a single crochet, and I'm going to make 2 single crochets into this 1 chain just to make it a nice edge. And so 2 single crochets into that first chain, and now I'm just going to single crochet into each of the chains across, and then we'll do 2 single crochets into this last chain, and then we'll go ahead and start working on this side of the headband, which we'll be doing the same thing, which is single crochet decrease in each stitch. Okay, so I once again crocheted along this side, and you can see this is how it should be looking at this point. Now, when you bring this close, you will notice, let's see if it'll focus. You'll notice that it's not quite like, a couple of the stitches look like they're further back. And that just seems like how it is naturally whenever you're trying to work into the side of stitches. This side is was a little hard for me to work into because there's the chains instead of the side of the double crochets. But I personally just inserted my hook into the chains or around the chains, either way. I still did though 2, worked twice out of double crochets and only worked once out of the single crochet rows. And you can see this is how it looked. I had about 63 single crochet decreases is what I did over this headband. Now, I did a single crochet into the last stitch because there was only 1 stitch left. Now I'm going to do single crochet increase, or 2 single crochets into the top of the first double crochet right there. 1, 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into each stitch across. So it should be just single crochet into each stitch across. And then we are officially done with the headband, and we'll move on to tying the little, or making the little twist on the headband. So we're almost done with this headband, and it's been super fun to crochet. So anyway, I am coming to the last couple of stitches here, and there we go. That was the last couple of stitches. I'm going to go ahead and do a single crochet into that last, actually I'm going to go ahead and do 2 single crochets into the last stitch right there, like that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet decrease that we made right here. And you can slip stitch wherever you want, but I'm just trying to make it nice and smooth and even. So you can see we have completed this. We're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. I'm going to cut myself a little bit of a longer tail so that we can do the little twist. So I'm going to cut myself maybe a 12 to 15 inch tail. And we are going to go ahead and tie off. So yarn over, pull up, or pull through, so make a chain and basically pull up. And there we go. So we officially have completed the crochet part of this headband. You're going to grab your darning needle right here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the darning needle onto my, or thread the darning needle. Now we are going to take this, and you can see this is the right side facing towards me, and then the wrong side is towards the ground. We are going to go ahead and keep it like this, and we're going to grab both edges like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold each side in half. Now, when you fold it in half, you'll be seeing the wrong side on both wrong sides, basically facing out, and the right side will be facing in. That's how you want it. So wrong side's facing out, and then on this side, wrong side's facing out. So you can see it's like this, and wrong side's facing out on both sides. What we're going to do is we're going to take these two now sides that we've pinched with wrong sides facing out, and we are going to basically sandwich them together. So we're going to open up each little V a little bit, and we're going to put them into each other like so. And it's going to take a little bit of messing around to get exactly how you want it. But basically, we opened up, so we folded in half, and then we opened up the folds and connected them like that. So you can see it's like kind of like a mixed sandwich almost. So now you can tell that I have my yarn coming from this one right here, the outside. So I'm just going to flip it so that's easier. So basically what you're going to do now is you're going to insert your darning needle into that first stitch on the first layer. Then you're going to go through the fold. Then you're going to go through the third layer, and then you're going to go through the fold again. So basically working through all 4 layers, you're going to go ahead and pull that through. And then you're going to do the same thing, just going back and forth across the top. Now, one thing I do like to do is I like to come across the top again. So basically doing a whip stitch, it makes it a little bit more of a nice flat thing to lay on your head. So we came out the top, now we can come back through the bottom again. Make sure you're grabbing all 4 layers. So 1 layer, 2 layers, there's the 3rd layer right there, and then there's the 4th layer. Go ahead and pull that, and I'm just going to keep doing this across the top of this headband, and you'll probably do it about 5 to 6 times, making sure that you grab the panel that's in there in that fold. That's going to get a little bit hard to grab. There you go. Make sure to grab each layer of the panels, or each layer. There we go. And okay, so now that I've done the whip stitch across the top, you can see this is how it should look. Now, when you open it up, you can go ahead and just pull that off for a second. I'm just going to show you this. You can flip it out to the right side, and this is how it should look. Now, I think this is really beautiful. Now, a couple things I like to do to make it look a little bit better whenever you're wearing it. If you notice, whenever you stretch it, it looks kind of funny right now. So what I like to do is I like to take this layer and kind of stitch them together. Just whip stitch them together, and then take this layer and whip stitch them together a little bit. And that just brings them together a little bit so that whenever you're pulling on the headband, it doesn't kind of flatten like that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to this side like we were working on it originally. And I'm just going to grab that same tail, and we are just going to go ahead and what I like to call do the finishing touches. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it this way just to kind of see what I'm doing. So now that we have the right side facing up, you can see that I'm just going to go through this bottom layer, and then I'm going to grab the top layer as well, going through both layers, and then I'm just going to go back down like a stitch or so over, like that. And like I said, the reason for this is just that when you pull it, it's going to look better than if you leave it like this. So it's going to look more professional. So I'm just going to do that one more time. I'm going to this time come up right along that edge stitch that we did when we were doing the single crochet decreases. And then I'm going to go back down right there. You can basically decide where you want to go, but I'm just kind of trying to give you the idea. So now I'm going to go across to the other side to make this reinforced, and I'm just going to flip it over, go across the headband in such a way that no one will ever see it through the kind of the thick part of it. And then I'm going to show the top side again, and I'm just going to do my little up and down a couple times once again. And like I already mentioned, the goal is just to make it look a little bit better whenever it's being pulled on. So yeah, now you have officially completed your headband. Thank you so much for making these beautiful headband along with me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly crochet tutorials and occasionally some crochet vlogs. Also, don't forget to comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to know what color you made your headband in and how it turned out. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!